Hey, welcome back. We are at day 2 Tavern on Cruise. We are in full production. You can see Chris back there, full production. We are getting ready for Tuesday's pickup dinner, and I'm going to run you through that today. All right, so yesterday we were really pressed for time trying to throw this all together. Today we're actually feeling pretty organized and looking forward to this production. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by kind of introducing all the ingredients that I'm going to use and the dinner that's going to be for Tuesday. We're doing a surf and turf combination of the meat and seafood grilled item. We're doing Cascade natural hanger steaks marinated in bourbon and soy and mustard, and then a basil lemon grilled prawn and horseradish mashed potatoes and a creamed spinach with brown butter. So with our hanger steak, we're going to do the marinade with bourbon, soy, brown sugar, garlic oil, and whole grain mustard. This is a very pungent, strong marinade because of the muscular structure of the hanger steak itself has a lot of these pockets and grooves, and that'll come into play later when we're slicing it. So you can see this, we'll call that the grain of the meat right here. We're going to end up cutting against the grain later once we grill it and rest it. So I'm going to start off by cleaning the hanger steak, and then I'll put the marinade together, and then we'll marinate the hanger steak. That way it has a good amount of time to sit. I definitely recommend at least a 24-hour marinade on this because it really penetrates the meat. So when you're cutting hanger steak, you look at it, there's a backside, and you're going to clean all this stuff off, and there is a divider line right here where eventually you'll have 2 loins coming off of the hanger steak. So I just start by cutting down one side of it, kind of following that, where that line is. Put that aside. Cut down the other side of it. We're going to discard, this is our meat scraps, so we can turn that into cutting it, I like to go in and out that way, but then I want to come back while giving a little bit of a pull on it. So what we're going to do next is put the marinade together so we can have the hanger steak marinating while we deal with all the other parts of the dish. I'm going to swap out here. Sanitation is important at all times. Okay, no particular order. I'm going to start making the marinade here. Soy sauce, a couple ounces of bourbon. Bourbon really penetrates the meat. Alright, we got the bourbon, and we got the mustard. I'm using raw garlic for the pure fact of the reason why I use roasted garlic for other things. This has that bite, that spice, and it's a stronger marinade for a denser piece of meat. Good amount of garlic, brown sugar, and a little bit of the garlic oil, which is a side product from our roasted garlic. Good amount of pepper, a little bit of salt. Because we got the soy sauce in there, it doesn't need a bunch of salt, but a little bit will help. Next we're going to start the horseradish mashed potatoes. I'm going to end up making the mashed potatoes all the way through for you guys. I'm going to leave out the horseradish. Some people may not enjoy the horseradish in there. It's an easy thing to leave out, but I think it's a great addition as far as for the beef and for the prawn. I'm going to start by peeling our potatoes. I like to cut the ends off because when we're peeling a bunch of potatoes, it makes it quicker to peel this way. Just a little bit. You're not wasting any potato there. Obviously the batch that we're making for all you guys is going to be a lot bigger. This is just a small condensed version of it. So get our potatoes cut up, medium, big chunks like that. Just fill it up with water over the top so that they're covered. We're going to cook these until they're real nice and soft, not until they're falling apart, but until we can run a knife through it nice and smoothly. And at that point, we'll make our mashed potatoes. Okay, now that we've done everything, the last step is the mashed potatoes. The potatoes are, as you can see, cut right through them, nice and soft, but they're not falling apart. And the whisk can go right through them like that. So I like to crush them up just a little bit first, kind of get all the chunks out. We're going to add some butter, cream cheese. I put a little bit of the liquid aside from the actual potatoes so that if they're a little bit stiff, we can add a little bit of that hot water to it. Roasted garlic, seasoning, and then this is where I'm going to leave it for you guys. I will add the horseradish myself, but you guys can add as much as you want. Kind of taste it, see how spicy you like it. I like it a little bit more spicy than some. That's a little bit stiff. Adding just a little bit of that water. So then horseradish goes in. I always add the horseradish last because with the heat it will bloom, and that means it'll get more aromatic and more pungent and more kind of bitter if it sits there too long. So it's something you finish the mashed potatoes with. Alright, so next we're going to do the marinade for the nice blue prawns that we have here. These are 16-20, so that means they're between 16 and 20 per pound. So I've already cleaned them, take the shell off, cut out the vein, and then we're going to put them in our container for the marinade. So what we want to start with is our basil. Tear it off. Don't use the stem. Doesn't have to be too picky about getting every bit of it out. It's all going to blend up nice. Next thing I add, I just rough chopped some chives so that adds a nice amount of green chlorophyll. Gives it a really good visual as well. We got some roasted garlic. That is also on purpose because our prawns are more delicate than the hanger steak. So I'm using a more delicate, sweeter, smoother garlic product. We do microplane, get the zest off for a lot of that oil flavor. Squeeze the juice. I don't want any seeds in there, so I'm going to do a backwards pitching all the seeds with them here. It's still good up there. So we're going to start blending everything in, and we're going to drizzle our oil in to create a nice emulsion. The important part, always remember to season. So you got salt and pepper. All right, here we go. So the next step for our prawns is just the skewering of it. So when I grill these, I want them to have a good amount of surface area so that when I'm grilling them, everything gets cooked evenly and not just the tails get burnt and these are raw still. So think about how you're putting them on the skewer. Meantime, we're going to do our creamed spinach with brown butter. So what we're going to do first, we're going to blanch the spinach, which is cooking it, nice hot water, keeps it bright green color. We're going to shock it down in the ice water right after that. That's what's going to keep the chlorophyll intact. So once we get to that point, we're going to add it to our brown butter sauce. So if anyone's familiar with our raviolis, we have a brown butter sauce that we do with it. We're going to use that for enhancing the spinach. It doesn't take very long. With something like asparagus or broccoli, you want a good 2.5 minutes. This probably only needs about 30 seconds. Should allow You really want to squeeze all the liquid out. So then with the spinach, it's blanched, but it's still kind of big pieces. We're just going to give it a little chop. And so this is what I'm going to give you guys. I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you the sauce. And you're going to heat it up, just like I did right here. And then you're going to add this spinach right to it. Just give it a stir in. We're going to season it. So we're going to grill off our prawns. Got a very hot grill. So up at the top it's going to be too hot. You're going to burn your prawns right away. So we get about 600 degree temp right here to get a really nice sear and some good marks. This, you want to put a nice hot spot right here. To show you how to make really nice, what we call grill marks. Start at, where you go, 10 o'clock. Okay, that's 10 o'clock. So 2 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Got a nice sear going on in the steak right here. Nice marks starting already, you can see. Alright, we have our prawns ready to turn. We're going to call that our picture side. So on presentation, this is the pretty side. Someone's going to see first. So I'm not going to worry about the grill marks on the bottom of it. I'm just going to have them here. The tails are away from the heat. The thick part of the prawn is towards the heat. So we're evenly cooking on. So we have our prawns resting. As soon as we get this to the mid-rare, we're going to pull it off. We're going to put it right on the towel so it doesn't bleed into anything else. That meat will continue to cook off the grill up to a medium temperature. I'm going to let that rest a minute right here on the real low heat. We're about mid-rare right now. Just going to let that rest. And what resting does is, besides the carryover cooking, the muscular structure shows a chance to relax, and then it makes it for a more tender, juicier cut steak. Alright, last thing is slicing the steak and plating it. So the steak is nicely rested. You can see that the juices bled out. That's what the purpose of resting is having it all kind of sit and absorb in there. Back to the lesson that we had earlier with those grooves, which is the grain. When you're looking at it, you want to cut it so it's against the grain. So if the grain's going like this, you cut it at a 90 degree opposite of that. You're gonna enjoy it much more. If anybody knows that you've grilled hanger steaks and you cut them and you get them and you're like, man, that was chewy. It might have been how you were cutting. You can get as fancy as you want, but this is really a comfort dish and I think everything kind of speaks for itself visually, and when you put it on the plate, it's going to complement each other no matter how you set it up. So there's a couple ways you can do it, but I'm just going to have an easy, really easy one right in the middle. Spots there. Set up our steak. And then we just put our prawns right on top of that.
So as I explained a couple seconds ago to these guys, the OLCC has made it very easy for people like us to get an off-premise license to sell wine and beer. And so we have the opportunity to pair wines with food. This is something that Chef Nate and I have done together for 11 years now. The wine that'll go out with next Tuesday's meal is a Pinot Noir from Ken Wright. Ken Wright is a really cool guy. He was the beginning winemaker at Panther Creek, which we all remember from a million years ago as being, oh my God, Panther Creek. And then it became, oh my God, Ken Wright. Why the wine works. Pinot Noir is kind of the most universal red wine you can find. It'll go with fish, it'll go with meat. I don't know how geeky I'm supposed to get here, but I guess if I was going to try to do this quickly, the tannins in a red wine will bind to the protein of a steak. And so every time you take a bite of a steak, especially a good kind of fatty steak, it leaves fat and protein on your palate. Then when you take your next bite, it's kind of covered in fat and protein. So whatever it is isn't going to be quite as bright and vibrant. This will bind with the protein, literally, and wash it down. So your next bite is as good. The other thing that happens when you're pairing wines is that when you have something like a cream sauce on a spinach, you're putting a bunch of fat on your mouth. And then every time you take a bite, your tongue's already coated in fat, and your next bite isn't as vibrant. The acid in a lighter Pinot Noir compared to a Cabernet will actually cut through the fat and brighten your palate up so that every bite is as good as the last. Pinot Noir is the thing. If you want some, I'll have some for you. How'd I do?